welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Carrie Ann, and today I'll be talking about how to secure your apartment when you're coming to the US or when you're already in the US, right? It's gonna be a short video. I'm just gonna tell y'all what I did to secure my apartment, and whether you're in Jamaica and you want to secure it from in Jamaica, which I don't recommend personally, or when you arrive to the US and that grace period that your agency gives you to find an apartment. These are just some little tips and tricks that you can use to make the process a little bit easier. So I know every company is different, but my company, and I will not be stating the name of this company, so don't ask me which company it is, guys. I have my reason for not talking about them. Maybe when I'm finished with this company and my contract has ended, I'll do a video and reveal all of everything and my opinions about this company. But until then, I will not be saying anything about them right now. But apartment hunting in the US is kind of complex. There's a lot of things that go into finding an apartment that's ideal for you, whether you're coming over here by yourself, you're coming with your family, or your spouse. Those are some of the things you have to take into consideration when you're trying to find an apartment, right? So my agency, they try to get you to secure your apartment while in Jamaica or while in any country that you're coming from, because they don't only do Jamaicans, but I'm from Jamaica, so that's what I'm talking about now. But I try to get you to secure your apartment from. So basically what that means, they send you a list with some random apartments which you have a look at. You decide if you're alone, you can do a 1-bedroom family, you know, that gist. But you're basically going to be contacting these renting agencies or rental companies, housing companies, and let them know that you're interested. You're usually gonna ask for a letter from your company, proof that you're gonna be working in the US, stuff like that. But my company wants you to pay a deposit from in your country to secure the apartment. Here's why I don't agree with that. From personal experience, I went ahead and did that because they were rushing me and they were being very persistent. Hold on. That I had to find an apartment before I get over here, just so I don't have the rigmarole to be running around and trying to secure somewhere. So I got very frustrated. My first time doing it, I didn't really know how the process was supposed to go or what it entailed. So I went ahead on this site, and I'm going to tell you some of the sites that I've used to find an apartment. I went ahead on this site, looked through. I took a little bit of time, even though they were rushing me, but they made it seem like I couldn't leave the country without securing an apartment, right? So I went ahead and paid, I think it wasn't a deposit, they have a name for it before the deposit. If I figure out the name, I'll put it in the video. But it's basically like a fee to secure your view in the apartment. Like, they can say, okay, you're definitely coming, you just want to view so you can decide. You know what I'm saying? So I went ahead and paid that fee for an apartment. Got over here, and the onboarding agents that they send to the state to help you get situated in the state, he brought me to the apartment. So I'm driving in the car and I'm looking at the environment. I'm saying, wow, the environment look good. And so I was saying it to him in English, of course, because they don't understand patois. And he was like, oh, we're not anywhere near there yet, I was like, okay. But then I noticed the scenery started changing. The building started looking dilapidated and run down. The area looked kind of shabby, and I was like, maybe he's passing through an area to get through where it's a shortcut or something. Because as I said before, the pictures on the website painted a different picture of what the apartment was going to be like. So I was expecting, a quaint little suburban area, And let me tell you something, friend. When I reached the apartment, you see, and I said to the guy, is this it? And he said yes. And he, at this point, he's very quiet. And he's giving me the side eye, and I'm giving him the side eye. I'm like, so he's like, are you gonna come out? And I'm like, do you think I should? And he's like, no. And I'm like, drive. Look, me just texting people at the same time. Like, I'm sorry, I'm no longer interested in this apartment. And of course, they told me they weren't going to be able to give me back my little fee that I get in, but I didn't matter. $30, I must say $40. Look here. At the end of the day, my safety comes first. My comfort comes first. If I can't be safe and comfortable and happy at my home, where am I going to be safe and comfortable and happy? I don't go anywhere, you know? So, of course, that meant I didn't have an apartment. So, of course, I started to panic. In the great US, I don't have any family in the state that I'm in. Don't have any family really in the US. And I'm saying, so what's gonna happen now? But good thing is they secured Airbnb. I had to pay them back, but I didn't have to pay the money up front, which is good, because when you just get to the US, you have a lot of expenses that you need to take care of, and you don't want to be spending unnecessary money on things that you don't have to spend it on, right? So during that period, I went on to Google, which was frustrating as hell. But I remember when I was a college student and we had to secure our housing before we went into the summer to work, and there was this list that I always use, this site called Craigslist. And I went there and I was looking for housing, but the Craigslist that I'm used to is not the Craigslist. I don't know if it's the area that I'm at, but I was not seeing a lot of good housing opportunities. And when I did find something that was good, the price was astronomical. I was like, for one person? No. Why? But Craigslist is a good place to find apartments or housing. If you don't want to rent an apartment, you want a house for you and your family, Craigslist is a good place to go and find it. Craigslist just have a lot of things, like people renting out their talents and stuff. Like if you want somebody to come and clean your house, go on Craigslist and check it out. But we're talking about housing now. And the good thing with Craigslist is that it's available in every state that you go through. Every community that you are looking to locate in, you're able to find something. You should be able to find something in that area where you're going to be relocating to. So Craigslist is a good opportunity to go and find housing. For the area that I was in, it was bad, but I've used Craigslist before and found good quality housing, but it was a different state. So that's a good place to go, Craigslist, and find housing. But that didn't work out for me, so I tried apartments.com. They're the ones that I did with the I booked the first apartment through. So I really went back there because I just couldn't do no better. But I went back there, and the good thing, I was actually in the US, so I was able to go to the areas and have a look before I decided to do a viewing of the apartment. So that's why I'm saying that it's better to come to the US and then secure where you're going to be staying, because it's always easy for you to get an Airbnb for a week or two, which I did, until I find somewhere that's comfortable, because nothing is worse. And I know people say, oh, it's a mufti country, you're not going to expect to be comfortable and you only don't pay on floor. Baby, I'm not do that. I tell everybody, I'm not left my good clean yard. I'm not going to leave my good clean house with my nice bed where I spend my good money pan, with my nice furniture if I can sleep on floor or foreign. I'm not do it. I'm sorry. That's just me personally. And when I say sleep on floor, I mean like in some little dilapidated area with like run down, and yeah, you can have one ear mattress and you live up on the ground, fine. But I'm not saying no area where I'm unsafe and I just feel uncomfortable. Oh, that makes sense. I'm not doing it. For those who have done it, caps off to you. But maybe I where I'm coming from, I never want to be there again. So certain situations I'm not going to agree with. So I was like, so of course, the first apartment was a no for me. So I was searching and searching and searching. And then I found this apartment. And the price was a little bit on the higher side, but I've noticed in this area that I'm in especially, the higher the cost of the apartment is generally better the surroundings. You get what I'm saying? So I went ahead and got this apartment just because it made me feel safe. And when I did the tour, it was a decent looking apartment. It had space, and of course I had my goals in mind of what I wanted to be doing, and the environment was just conducive for that. So that's why I chose my apartment. But you can use Craigslist, apartments.com. I'm going to stick some more in here that you can use, but I went through a couple of them. And yeah, that's how I found my apartment. Another thing that I would encourage you to do, and I'm always encouraging us to do this, research the area that you're going to be at. Find out if even before you leave Jamaica, find out if the area that you're going to be, how the crime rate is, how the cost of living is, commuting. That's another thing. Be sure that commuting to and from work is going to be easy for you. Or if not, put into place things that are going to make it easy for you to commute to and from work. You can't live. Few people work over here, brother. And like Jamaica, where you can say, oh, my 30 minutes in, you cannot be late for the people in work. Worse when I come from the country, you mad? So I did my research and I knew that they did not have a secure or reliable bus system. But they had Uber and the other one name, can never remember the Lyft. So I was like, okay, I don't have my car now. I'm gonna be working on it. So when I reach the area, so do your research so you can know, do I need to secure a means of transport before I leave Jamaica? Is there a bus system that I can rely on? Is Uber and Lyft reliable? Because when I got here, I thought Uber and Lyft was reliable. And when I got here, after certain hours or before certain hours, it was really hard to get a car to come pick me up to bring me to work. I was reaching to work very late, like 30 minutes after the time I was supposed to be at work. But the only good thing that saved me was because I was on orientation. So of course I knew that my orientation was going to be up and I need to put into place something so I wasn't late for the people in work. So that's another thing. Do your research of the area. See if your apartment can be in walking distance of where you work, or if it's not in walking distance, how far do you have to drive? Is a bus available? Stuff like that, you know. So all of that come into play with your apartment also, because you don't want to get an apartment where you're inconvenienced in your commuting opportunities, because not a lot of us when we get here, we don't have a car initially, you know. So you have to put stuff like that into consideration when you're thinking about where you're going to get your apartment, right? Another thing, do your research on what is required to get an apartment in the US. So a lot of apartments, some of them want to do some of the real, let's say, restore. They probably will ask for like a credit check, or do you have any credit history? But figure out if the apartment that you're going to try and get, if they're going to need stuff like that from you. Usually they'll just take an employment letter, but I have seen apartments that are asking for your credit history, and if you don't have a credit history, they're not going to allow you to rent their apartments because they're worrying, how will you be able to pay them back? You get what I'm saying? So do your research. When you get an apartment over here, if you didn't know, or now you know, there is something called renter's insurance. So you have to go ahead and pay insurance every month for your apartment. First, to insure the apartment itself with your things in there, as well as to insure. So wait, apartment insurance is to insure your stuff that's in the apartment, as well as the apartment itself. So my apartment, they weren't going to take me until I showed proof that I had my renter's insurance secured. Now, of course, the girls was coming to the country and I did not want to spend a lot of money on anything like that. I was so flabbergasted, but I get it, but I also didn't get it, you know. But anyways, I did my research because I am the research queen. I am the research queen. You hear me? Believe me. Believe me, I'm telling you, I'm the research queen. So I did my research, and I found this company called Toggle.com. I'm going to put it right here. And Toggle was really great with that. It was for low budget people like me who didn't want to spend a lot of money but still wanted to secure my stuff and secure my apartment, because as I said before, if I don't have proof of renter's insurance, I was not going to be able to move into my apartment, right? So also, if you're not going to be using Toggle, so most major insurance companies in the US offer renter's insurance, right? But it's a lot of money, like it's kind of costly. So initially when I was researching Toggle, I had to be sure that it was a legit insurance company. So Toggle, I think, and don't quote me here, if I'm wrong, I'll put it in the video, but they're like a branch from State Farm, like it comes under the umbrella. So it was an acceptable form of renter's insurance, because not all renter's insurance providers are accepted by the apartment that you're going to be renting. So just put that in the back of your mind. But Toggle is really good. I recommended a couple of persons to it. You save money, you pay one little fee. I think I pay $7 a month time. That's some change. $7, and just do a set up a automatic withdrawal, and I don't even have to worry about it unless I check my thing and I see, oh, $7 is Toggle. I thought, what, I think I need to renew my insurance. I'm gonna check on it. But yeah, that's one thing. That's another thing you need to do. You need to know about when it comes onto your apartments. What else? Me personally, I've come to realize I don't like apartment buildings, because I'm upstairs and I have neighbors downstairs, behind me, and to the north, the east and west of me, if I'm sending it the right direction. And let me tell you, the people I'm downstairs, they're noisy, they have kids, and when the kids come from school, them boom flick and do all sorts of gymnastics and something down there, and it disturbs me because I'm a quiet person and I don't like all the noise. And then my neighbors next door me, well, I had one before, she was having sex, and when she was having sex at 1-2 o'clock in the morning, she was disturbing me, so I had to let my homegirl know that I could hear her. And she stopped, but then shortly after that she moved out. So probably she got embarrassed. I don't know, I don't care. I'm paying my money, I need to be sleeping like a princess, okay? So that was not happening. I was not sleeping like a princess. So yeah. And then my neighbors behind me, sometimes they get rowdy too. So I'm just not a fan of apartments. So I'm thinking that the next place I'm going is going to be like a house. Yes, a house definitely, where it's just me in the house and my neighbors are down the road or something. I can't take the noise. I just can't take the disturbance. So that's gonna be changing for me. But just take into consideration that when you have an apartment, or if you're downstairs and you have upstairs neighbors, child. But yeah, that's all I can think about now with apartment hunting. Getting an apartment, you come to the US, be sure to have your deposit ready, because every apartment is different. Some of them just want a little deposit, some of them want the first and last month rent. So take into consideration, if the rent per month is $500, you're going to be looking at $1,500, because they want the first and last month's rent as deposit. You get what I'm saying? So be mindful of that. But all in all, just do your research. Don't be scared. I know it's new and it's different, but people come before me and do it. Me come and do it. You can do it. It's not gonna be easy, but you can do it. And then at the end of the day, you're just gonna be living your best life in a comfortable environment and adjust accordingly. So even if you go to the apartment, you have the there's another thing. You have the Jesus, what happened to her, God? You have the opportunity to decide if you want your lease to be 6 months. Some people even do 3 months, or a year. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you. Initially, I chose a year. I probably shouldn't have done that. Personally, I think so. But I would recommend choosing 6 months, and then if you really like the place, you can stay for whenever. But say you don't like the place, you have to stay there 1 year before you can move. So yeah, that's another thing. But guys, if you have any more questions for me, please drop them in the comment section below. As usual, it was a pleasure talking with you. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Share this with your friends, share this with people you know are coming up. I hope this video finds someone that is in the beginning stages of migrating to the US and was just wondering about what the apartment process was like. But yeah, if you have any questions, any suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And until then, it's your girl Carrie Ann signing out. Bye.